I guess you know Qatar is, I guess, number 3, no? Well, we are looking at, the Philippines is really an agricultural country, so we're very strong in fresh produce, no? Like, if I'm not mistaken, it's bananas, no? Fruits, fresh fruits is number 1 here, no? And we're also looking at marine products like tuna, okay? And I understand that GCC and especially Qatar, no, imports about 70 to 85% of their food requirements. That's a very big. I was reading up last night, no, Georgie and an ambassador, and I was thinking, my God, this is really a natural market for food.
Yeah.
Not
Everything?
only 70, 80, but maybe 90.
Oh, 90%. Can you imagine 90%? And for investments, can you just imagine them looking outside for agricultural land?
We are.
Wow. So this Qatari delegation is going there looking.
That's part of their mission.
Do we have land to offer? Yun ang next sagot po, di ba?
Yan ang napag-usapan natin kagabi.
Oo. Yun, do we have land to offer? But the opportunities are so great. And there are several indications. GDP is growing here. Food consumption is growing because of the growing population, no? And the population is what we're looking at. I was looking at it, and it's not just the mainstream Arab market that we're looking at. You have a strong Filipino community. You have a strong expat market, no? And you have a strong tourism market. So parang you're looking at 4 different kinds of markets to cater to, no? And UAE and Qatar are the strongest in terms of tourism now, no? So with this football event coming up in 2022, Qatar is almost like, diba? Talagang it's, ano ba ito? It's competing with Dubai and Abu Dhabi for the tourist market. No? So it's amazing what's happening here in the region.
Philippine mango is still in demand, especially among
Still is.
What are your plans to bring it to Doha? Because hindi siya ganun ka, I know, because of the logistics.
Meron atang presyo, may price problems atang mango natin dito, no? Something that we really have to address, no? If I'm not mistaken, Iran is already like
We're competing with Pakistan, for example. They're pricing it at sa retail mga 9 Qatari Riyal siguro per kilo. Pagdating ng Philippine mangoes dito, ang presyo niya mga sa 25. So, yeah, because you have to air freight the mangoes eh. So it's really expensive. And like sa kanila, lapit lang, di ba?
Wala po bang technology na nade-develop para ma-lower yung cost? Para maging easier yung
Shelf life.
For now, wala pa. If you want it fresh kasi you really have to air freight eh. Siguro there are technologies, pero for process na. Buksan mo na siya, na-freeze mo siya. Pero hindi na siya fresh, di ba? So yun.
Pero yung pineapple po, diretso na po dito galing ng Philippines po yung mga tinitinda po dito.
90% ata o 100% ng pineapple dito galing sa atin eh. O, di ba, no? That's a good market here. We're competitive. Some mango, maybe price is not going to be, may not be the differentiating factor. I was just thinking about it. Maybe we go a notch higher and brand Philippine mango and give more value to it. Diba? Parang you promote mango as high-priced commodity. A little, meaning texture, flavor, a bit different than the Indian mango. Meaning this is what you get for this price. But if you buy Philippine mango for like 10, anong tawag dito yung pera dito?
Qatar
Real? Qatar Real more. Then you will have a different experience, diba? Parang gano'n, no? So maybe it's just a matter of the branding and the promoting. Because it's really true, Philippine mango is very different. It tastes different from any other mango. Less fiber, more succulent, diba? So it's just a matter of positioning it siguro. But that means that we'll have to invest in marketing the particular product, which we've been discussing last night with Georgie as to what is the strategy for this market, no? And this market, Qatari, is very fond of branded high-value products, and maybe that's the way to go in this market, no?
Or will there be like big events to promote products here in the
Hopefully, Ailyn. So, the first one, George is working on that insert promotion. And it's if we will really, when we will do it pala, hindi if, ano ha, George?
When?
Ambassador ha, hindi yan if, when. When we do it in November, we really want to make it as big an event as possible. And it's not only now for trade, but in all probability, it will also be a tourism event.
Trade and tourism.
Trade and tourism together, which is really what the policy direction is now in Manila.
What about the other products of the Philippines aside from the foods, like yung furniture natin? Qatar also is a good market for that, I believe. They have big
really,
furniture events. Yeah, they have yearly Index. They have a furniture event, and mostly are Italian brands. So maybe I'm just thinking we can.
Okay. Yan ang next na ano daw, program ni Joji. Kasi sabi lang na kagabi na we have to focus on the food right now, simply because the access is easy. All right, it's immediate, no. And in fact, for this year, we're looking. We all have marching orders to produce immediate results, no. And we feel that the food industry would be the easiest market to penetrate at this time here in the Middle East. No? Furniture may take a little bit of product development. What we are now producing in Manila may not actually be the designs, no? Kasi very design-driven ang Middle East market. They have the culture is very different. The weather is a little very different. So materials will have to be considered. What materials will like last in this kind of a desert kingdom, di ba? So maraming product development na dapat gawin. But there are already some companies who are looking at the Middle East very closely, especially not for the mainstream market, but really more for the contract hospitality industry, meaning hotels that are coming up, you know, and but again, that's what DTI is exploring right now, no? The contract market for furniture. But if we go mainstream, it's a totally different mindset that we'll have to enter, no? So they go for European furniture this time. But I do know one or two companies, furniture companies in Manila, di ba, na who does nothing but Italian furniture, no? And they produce it locally. So maybe, baka pwede. Tingnan natin. Oh.
You have this like campaign, yung Philippine First mindset.
Okay.
How do you exactly promote this, like for a different market, like in the GCC or in the Middle East?
Hindi naman siya campaign, no? It's really more of like, it's a goal.
Okay, go.
It's an objective. Kasi nga, if we are thinking of, it may be a bit premature to talk about a branding initiative, but maybe we talk more in terms of aspiration for the Philippines, no? And we're trying to convince top-level people and I guess the higher ups, no, to embark on really a deliberate branding initiative for Philippine products. Diba, you have, when you say French wine, what comes to mind, diba? When you say a German car, diba, diba, parang Mercedes, quality, diba? When you say French lace, the lace is already like associated with the country of origin. Ano pa, Japanese electronics, the product is associated with the country of origin. Philippines, what comes to mind? We'd be lucky pag bananas will be associated with us, ah. Di ba, no? There's
Pero
a blank.
ano po yung gusto nating ma-associate sa
Diba?
Philippines? Meron po ba kayong specific product na tina-target na you would want to be the brand of the Philippines sa global market?
Well, we cannot answer that right now because we need branding experts also to help us. It needs a lot of study. Because then we cannot just go, okay, tomorrow let's go bananas or let's go bango.
Furniture.
Or let's go furniture, di ba? Parang ganon. There was some talk that why don't we go for abaca? Kasi, you know, anything that you promote na product, you have to be good at it or you have the supply capacity, no? Hindi pwede na you say, okay, we are Philippine banana country and then you don't have the bananas to supply the market or your banana is not top quality, no? So, medyo the branding initiative will have to also be grounded on capacity, quality, the value, you know, and there has to be a mindset among Filipinos that this is what we are. So it's not an easy, it's not going to be an easy exercise, no? Even before you launch a brand, all Filipinos must agree that this is it. Hindi pwede yun, ay hindi kami banana, mango kami eh. Diba? So you kill the brand just by doing that. Hopefully within the year. I just presented to the DTI-CITEM last week before I left, no? So it's a process that we have to go through, and I was telling the ExCom, the secretary and the other secretaries, it cannot just be DTI. Tourism has already launched their Fund Philippines campaign. That trade must have a parallel campaign going for products and services, no? And the tourism campaign went out ahead, so it's just a matter of, in our own little way, let's embrace it. We actually cannot say naman it's fun doing business in the Philippines, no? But, you know, like, up to now kasi yung Philippine campaign is still just a logo. There's still nothing to it, no? So that's what they're working on right now. This is actually the best time for DFA, DTI, DOT, anybody who does international promotion should really get together and agree, okay, this is the way we look abroad. This is the image we want to project, di ba? So, yun. So, in our little way, tingnan yung aming promo material. Yan, okay. So, in our own little way, inadapt na namin yung Philippine look, yung tourism look. Di ba? So, and we're attaching it now to Food Philippines. This is a very small attempt to unify the image abroad. Kasi ang tourism is already like using this multicolored Philippine look, di ba? Ang slogan nila is, it's fun in the Philippines. No?
Yeah.
Tipong ganon. So kami naman, Food Philippines, no? Yung tipong ganon. But every time you go abroad, you go to a tourism fair, you see one image. You go to a trade fair, you see another image. You go to an agriculture fair abroad, you see just this image. No? Yung tipong ganon. It's a start. It's not really the total branding initiative that we have in mind, but it can certainly be a start. No?
I'm just curious, why do you think it's taking time for us to establish our identity in the global market when in fact there was a time we were #1 in Asia?
Di pa ata ako buhay na nagka-problema, iha. It's difficult to say. We've been asking ourselves also, oh, what happened along the way? Parang ganon. Iha. Medyo, you turn off the, maybe the political scene has something to do with it as well, no? I came from tourism. Every time I went through like how many bosses? 11 bosses. Okay. And in 1 century. Ano bang century? 100 years? Hindi naman siguro, ano? In a decade. I went through 11 tourism secretaries, and every tourism secretary had a different direction and a different slogan. I will not even call it a brand, a slogan. So from Fiesta Islands to Wow Philippines, no? To Premium Philippines, to Feel the Philippines, to Islands Philippines, no? Talagang pati yung logo na ubusan na nga kami ng anong adjective eh.
Kaya kung mag-opya na lang.
So, isn't it amazing? Di ba? So, there's no visionary eh. What we need siguro is a visionary who can look beyond his nose or her nose, no? Na this is just for me. Kasi most of the people who come into power, they say, okay, this is what I want. This is what will work. I know it better, di ba? And throw away everything. Di ba? Parang gano'n eh. Gano'n parati every time somebody comes into, So, and that was what happened to tourism. So, tourism is, I believe, is the easiest way to bring a brand to the international market. We have to have a very good person in tourism. And it has to be a person who has the greatest confidence of not only the president, but the majority of the people of the Philippines, no? He is the #1 salesman of the Philippines, no? If he fails, everything else will fail. Can you just imagine him bringing, like how many times do they go abroad and promote, di ba?